and was shaking uncontrollably in the fetal position as I hugged him and waited for the emergency services to arrive. My strange, almost out-of-body calmness continued, which was a relief. I saw the blue lights through the window from my kneeling position on the rug and immediately stood up. "I'll be back in a minute, Jack," I said. "There are people who can help us now, okay?" I heard Jack groan as I left the room and went to open the front door. A uniformed officer was standing there with 2 paramedics beside him. "Hello, I'm DS Moretti," the tall police officer said, stepping forwards. He had a very deep, raspy voice. "Can you show us what's been going on here, please?" Seconds later, we were all standing in the conservatory. Not Jack, though. He was still on the living room floor. It broke my heart to think of the pain he must have been feeling at that moment. I desperately wanted to be with him, but I had to show the emergency services people the bodies. As they took in the horrific scene, the sickening sight of the dead people, particularly the 2 smaller ones, the 2 paramedics only paused for a few seconds before their professionalism kicked in and they started attending to each body in turn. I imagine that they didn't get a call like this very regularly. I'd never have been able to imagine something so awful if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes. I couldn't properly focus on anything else in the room. The bodies were everything. The spectacle of them made everything seem oddly unreal, like I was in a movie that had come to life. I moved to the side to let one of the paramedics past and almost fell over a stool, which then fell on top of a pile of notebooks. "They're looking for signs of life," DS Moretti said. He hadn't taken his eyes off the bodies since entering the room. "All deceased." The female paramedic turned towards him. "Right," DS Moretti said, as his hand went into his pocket. I watched as he withdrew his mobile phone and tapped the screen a few times. "Sarge," he said into it a few seconds later, "I think you're going to want to come and take a look at this. We've got 6 dead bodies here, and at the moment, I'm not sure whether it's suicide or murder." Chapter 2. Jack and I have known each other since we were 6 years old. I'm 2 years younger than him, and to start with, I was friends with his younger sister, Sabrina. We were in the same year at St Giles Primary School in Buckingham, and when I was 6, Sabrina invited me round to her house for the first time. She had bright blonde hair, like the rest of the family, and I thought it looked amazing. My hair's always been copper brown, and I used to wonder what it felt like to look like Sabrina. She had delicate features, even when she was young. "Elfin," my mother used to say. "She looks like a changeling. She's got the body and face of a fairy." It was the day after my 18th birthday when we found the bodies of his family, and I will never get over seeing Sabrina hanging there like that, her mouth all contorted, her eyes blindfolded, her limbs unnaturally stiff, her skin the colour of death. She didn't deserve to have her life cut short like that. She had so much going for her. Everybody said so. Some horrors in life are literally indescribable, and this is one of them. I'll never get over what I saw that day. My family have always been boringly normal. I used to want a more interesting name, as I figured that Ellen Waldron wasn't going to get me very far in life. It sounds more like a librarian sort of name than a go-getting success story kind of title. I've always loved reading, and I would ponder over girls' names in stories like Scarlet, Anastasia, Matilda, Evangeline and Ramona, and wonder if my classmates would find me a bit more interesting if I was called something more exotic. Perhaps a more memorable name would have counteracted my overall averageness. I had average looks, an average-sized body, average marks in class. I was about the most boringly normal girl you could get. And until I was 12, I came from an average family. Then my father left, because it turned out that he'd been having an affair behind my mum's back with a lady from church,